All right, up at number 10, we have Saudi Arabia. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is an Arab country located in Western Asia and constituting most of the Arab Peninsula. Although the country offers fabulous Red Sea beaches, remarkable museums, and tantalizing restaurants, it is a religious destination that reigns supreme. Saudi Arabia is home to Mecca, the most important Islamic destination in the world, thus attracting millions of pilgrims. Although renowned for its oil, Saudi Arabia is investing more in tourism. For the very first time in the country's history, tourist visas were actually granted in 2013. All right, up next we have Kuwait. Kuwait is a country that has often been well known for being rich in oil as well. Kuwait City is the capital of the country and is famous for its modern architecture. Travelers can enjoy views of modern-day skyscrapers as well as ancient, beautifully built mosques, so it truly is a mix of modern and ancient times. One of the most visited destinations in Kuwait is the Kuwait Towers. This hospitable country is also home to Bayan Palace, the islands of Failaka, and the Grand Mosque of Kuwait. Fascinating history can be visited at the Kuwait National Museum. There are also plenty of hotels, amusement parks, and other interesting destinations to visit around the country. Moving on to Bahrain. Bahrain has a history to reflect on with pride. Boasting its own Formula One Grand Prix, a growing art and foodie scene heavily cross-pollinated by Manama's huge expat population, and a wealth of activities enjoyed on the Azure waters surrounding this collection of islands, Bahrain will appear to travelers who seek an unpretentious yet confident country bearing all the hallmarks of a modern, wealthy Gulf nation. This multi-layered and multicultural destination is definitely one to consider. Up at number 7, we have Qatar. In just 40 years, this Gulf state has grown from one of the poorest countries in the Gulf to the richest in the world. Mainly functioning on oil and natural gas revenue, Qatar is developing at breakneck speeds, and everything from universities to shopping malls, 5-star hotels to football stadiums, of course, in preparation for the 2022 World Cup, and they are springing up along the desert floor. Many tourists visit the capital city of Doha. Other popular destinations are the Museum of Islamic Art, the Al Jassasiyah rock carvings, and the Zubara Fort. Up at number 6, we have Oman. Oman is an Arab country located on the southeastern coast of the Arabian Peninsula. The beauty of the emerald beaches, the rich Arab history in the ancient forts, the lush green mountains, unique wildlife, and endless deserts will give you an Arabian adventure unlike any other on the Gulf Coast. You will find local bazaars or souks filled with handicrafts, and the most famous item of Oman, frankincense. Kind-hearted, helpful, and law-abiding people add up to make this country a must-visit place. And up at the halfway point in our video today, we have Egypt. Egypt is a country that brings to mind the exotic. In Cairo, its most famous city, visitors can enjoy the well-known Cairo Museum, pyramids, the Sphinx, and the Valley of the Kings. Egypt is rich in history, and there's so much to see, including the Red Sea, the Nile River, destinations that boast beaches, desert adventures, temples and mosques, great restaurants, and many architectural delights. The general aura of history is rooted in the culture that pervades the entire country. Up next, we have Jordan. Also known as the Lawrence of Arabia, Jordan is a spectacle of a destination. Jordan is packed with grand structures and hints of old civilizations. The Dead Sea is a popular destination for many reasons, as it offers the lowest point below sea level on the planet, offering the chance to experience the therapeutic waters and air. Many tourists also visit Petra, a city that is said to be over 2,000 years old and built into the side of a mountain, listed as one of the newest 7 wonders of the world. Amman is also a popular city there to visit, with modern malls, hotels, and fine dining establishments. Up at number 3, we have Lebanon. The Lebanese Republic is actually supposed to be the smallest country in the entire continent of Asia. It has a wonderful coastline that you can never get tired of, and even boasts the popular city of Beirut. Lebanon is full of Stone Age settlements, Roman temples, and medieval forts. Popular destinations include Beirut National Museum, Baalbek, the Jeta Grotto, Byblos, Sidon Sea Castle, and of course you must also visit the Lebanese cedars and the many vineyards for some wine tasting while you are there. Up next, we have Turkey. Settled on the border of Asia and Europe, Turkey is an archive of Islamic Middle East impact and the influence of the Christian European West. Turkey at present represents a modern and westernized culture that exists along with its more exotic and esoteric side, hidden from the outside world. Explore the dual sides of the country with the natural panoramic landscape, historic places, fertile valleys, huge mountain ranges, rugged coastline, and quaint villages. The capital of Istanbul is the heart of the country, buzzing with cafes, bustling bazaars, the aroma of spices, enchanting belly dancers, nightclubs, hammams, and natural hot springs. And up at number 1, we have the United Arab Emirates. Once known for its fishing-based economy, today the UAE is much more than vast deserts and ancient forts. Immersed in its rich Emirati culture, the UAE is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, offering touches of modernity with its ever-expanding infrastructure. From its traditional souks to palm-shaped islands, glittering huge malls, luxurious hotels, grand architecture, luxury theme parks, and some of the largest sand dunes, the country offers you a complete package to relax, rejuvenate, and be adventurous all at the same time.
The country at number 10 is Belgium. Let's take a look to see what Belgium has to offer. Why is it such a peaceful country? Well, judging by the Global Peace Index, the country of Belgium is one of the best places to live in all of Europe, as well as on the planet in general. It's located in the heart of Europe, and it's a very beautiful country, and it's home to some very special places like Brussels. And of course, that's the capital of Belgium. It's also home to the European Union as well as NATO. And now Belgium, it has a lot of medieval cities, beautiful town halls, majestic castles, and it's just a captivating, naturally beautiful place to be in. Really contributes to the peaceful vibe of the country. Of course, we have to mention Sweden. They come in at number 9. So Sweden, of course, is located in the far north of Europe, and Sweden is one of the most beautiful Scandinavian countries on the planet. The country has very low levels of robberies. Only 9,000 of them happen per year. Compared to the United States, that number is at 350,000 plus. There's also very high standards of living as well as generous parenting leave for moms and dads. About 15 months they can take off. Plus they have a great welfare system. And of course that justifies why it's ranked so high as one of the peaceful countries in the world. Canada is up next at number 8. So Canada has one of the best standards of living in the entire world. Now, if you've ever been to places like Toronto, even to Niagara Falls, you'll see why Canada is so awesome. It's clean, it's very diverse, there's a lot of gorgeous people that live in Canada. You know? So with the peaceful country that Canada is, you'll also find beautiful landscapes that make it a great place to live, as well as for photography and people that just love exploring nature. People are also very polite in Canada. Like, they will literally apologize to you if you accidentally walk into them and bump them on the street. That's a true fact. Moving on now to number 7, we have Finland. Finland is considered one of the most peaceful countries and most livable countries on the planet. It has one of the best education systems in the world, and our children are given a lot of recesses. And I guess because of that, that's why they have very low rates of ADHD. There's practically no corruption in the country, and you're not gonna find a lot of class distinction in the country as well. People are just sort of seen as equal. And also scores really high on gender equality as well. Japan comes in at number 6 in this episode. So of course, Japan is one of the most fascinating countries culturally and traditionally in the entire world. It's home to a lot of things. It also has one of the best economies in the world. Japan is also considered the happiest country in all of Asia. Japan is very safe in many aspects. You find that it has a low crime rate as well as no major conflicts with any of its neighboring countries. You'll also find great food, a lot of polite people, as well as a stellar transportation system. These guys, you know, the Japanese, they've definitely built a peaceful and technologically advanced country within a relatively short period of time, despite, you know, their history. With that said, we're moving on to the country at number 5. Switzerland. See what they got going on. There are very low levels of crimes in Switzerland. It's located in the heart of the European Union. Switzerland is a naturally beautiful, fascinating place as well. The country is known for its neutral behavior in regional as well as international global political issues. The country also has a strong diplomatic relation with many other countries around the world, and the authorities have also invested heavily in their people in providing them with great education as well as healthcare services and, a lot of employment benefits. Coming up next, we have the country of Austria. Now, we don't hear about this country too much, but it's a small landlocked country in South Central Europe. And Austria has also moved up on the list when it comes to being one of the most peaceful countries in the world. And that has a lot to do with its stance on certain international political issues. Austria is doing very well. There's no austerity, and it's not being blamed like a lot of its neighboring countries for not saving Europe. But either way, outside of that, Austria definitely has earned its spot on the list of most peaceful countries in the world. New Zealand is up next. Now, it has a very small percentage of its population that's in prison. It has limited military capability, and of course, it has strong relations with Australia. New Zealand is also one of the most unpolluted countries in the entire planet, and New Zealanders get a very generous leave benefits so that they have a lot of time to enjoy the landscapes as well as other attractions that the country has to offer. Now, this episode would not be complete if I didn't mention the country of Denmark. We've talked a lot about this country here on FTD Facts, but Denmark holds the second place in this episode as the most peaceful country in the world. So similar to New Zealand, Denmark and the rest of the North European countries consistently rank as the best when it comes to safety. Denmark is also the most peaceful nation on the continent of Europe. Taxation is high, but the money, of course, is well spent on making the Danish lifestyle really relaxed, well organized, and just all around great. But with that all said, it was not enough to come in at number 1 as the most peaceful country. That goes to Iceland. Apart from its crazy icy scenery, it's reported that Iceland has a 100% literacy rate and has a population of over 300,000 people. So of course, it's one of the most educated countries in the world. Icelanders are also known to be very tolerant towards minorities. So that of course is a huge plus. And also one of the best things that you'll find about Iceland is that its murder rates are very low. Only 1.8 per 100,000 of its population are murdered every single year. Of course, murders are practically non-existent. So no doubt that this country is a really safe place to live and overall a peaceful country. That's why it's number 1 in this episode.
Coming up at number 10, we have the United Kingdom with 39,400,000 visitors. Afternoon tea, posh accents, and of course the Queen have built Britain into an image of refined elegance. Combining the historical sites of Britain, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland under the United Kingdom banner, we have ourselves a myriad of landing points for tourists. While central London and other major cities have tons to offer tourists, Great Britain's outskirts boom with history and sites such as Neolithic stone circles, crumbling castles and forts, Roman baths, and New Age museums. Scotland is home to the wildlands, bridging lofty lochs and tumbling aisles with Chain's historic fortresses and what were once battlegrounds. Northern Ireland, in contrast, is popular for its clinking pints of beer and hip cities, drawing from both modern Britain and Scottish Highlands. Coming in at number 9, we have Germany with 39,600,000 visitors. Germany may be remembered for its rocky history, but it is also the birthplace of great thinkers, inventors, and creatives who ushered in the modern era. From the contemporary architectures by Frank Gehry and Daniel Libeskind to lofty museums and automobile factories, you can track the country's cultural footprints. Cast your eyes beyond the Romanesque and Baroque build of Berlin, Munich, and Hamburg to see the swaying path into rural Germany. The valleys unfold into imposing forests and vast vineyards, reaching towards northern dunes and the chilly Alps. Coming in at number 8, we have Thailand with 39,800,000 visitors. The spiritual and celestial guide many of Thailand's cultural practices, prophesizing the intertwining of sacred spaces and nature. As you trail the splendid estates of gleaming temples and intricate shrines, you'll stumble over the roots of ancient banyan trees, past green framed Buddhas, and other floral offerings. Nature is never far. Thailand's rural heartland comprises deep caves, majestic waterfalls, beautiful rice terraces, and oscillating hills. Chaotic city life and serene farmland aside, visitors come for Thailand's dynamic coast. Over 1,000 islands dot its shores, gentle waters giving life to corals and whale sharks. Sea cliffs and sand strips invite outdoorsy travelers to stay and play, whereas the holiday towns of Koh Tao, Koh Samui, and Koh Phi Phi hard sell with relaxing messages and tropical cuisine. Coming in at number 7, we have Mexico with 45 million visitors. While most known by tourists for its selection of relaxing getaways, vibrant nightlife, and all-inclusive beachfront resorts, Mexico also celebrates its cultural pride and expressive artistic nature that allows for architectural triumphs in both Teotihuacan pyramids, Mayan temples, and colonial towns, as well as masterful art, home to the likes of Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera. Underground artistic movements have also brought dance and street art to the forefront. Beyond the city's endless cultural riches are also eye-catching jungles, volcanoes, deserts, and coasts. Mexico's boundless nature offers adventures for both hikers and divers. And making it at number 6 in the list, we have Turkey with 51,200,000 visitors. Turkey smolders with desert heat and sun-beaten ruins, backed by the enticing thrum of bustling cities. Having been conquered by the Romans, Byzantines, and Ottomans, Turkey treks its story from fervent Istanbul to the romantic Mediterranean coast. On the way are magical landscapes that range from jutting rock formations to glittering lakes and olive groves, rugged mountains, and beautiful beaches. As if Turkey wasn't alluring enough, its culinary specialties draw from both inland and coastal sources. Spiced kebabs, oil-cooked vegetables, and sweet baklava barely skim the trove of local eats. And making it at the halfway point of today's video, we have Italy with 64,500,000 visitors. The arts come to mind when we think of Italy. The Byzantine architectures, Padua's frescoes, Michelangelo's David, and the greatest of Da Vinci's works, to name a few. Heritage sites feature the remnants of ancient Rome and subsequent empires left in the form of ruins, archaeological sites, churches, and manors. Attention to aesthetics translates into the everyday details too. Italy is home to some of the biggest fashion minds. On the more natural spectrum is extraordinary geological diversity. From the turquoise coral reefs to the icy Alps, Italy flourishes in blues and greens. Where nature is abundant, culinary delights follow. Indulge in the powdery dough of pizza, pasta, and pastry, and an array of fine wines. All right, up at number 4, we have China with 65,700,000 visitors. It is impossible to capture neither China's vastness nor the breadth of its existence. Besides fast-developed cities are ancient crumbling villages, the time-worn Great Wall, vibrant hues of Buddhist temples, and water towns. When you've had your fill of modern malls and artifact-filled museums, spare time for China's magnificent landscapes. Choose between Yangshu's winding river, Hong Kong's concrete jungle scape, haunting Mongolia deserts, and the floral crown of Qinghai Lake. Or maybe you're better off picking at the historical intrigues within Beijing's Forbidden City, perhaps seeking out the hidden speakeasies of Shanghai. Regardless, if you come for the scenery, you stay for the food, for China's culinary variations mean anything can be eaten, and eaten with relish. All right, coming in at number 3, we have the United States with 79,300,000 visitors. America has always been a popular travel destination due to its sprawl of metropolises and small town charms. With travel patterns trending toward city hopping and road tripping, America's endless highways are ever appealing. New York City, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Chicago, and Boston are ever evolving urban spaces that boast mixed cultures and cuisines. There is then musical Austin and free-spirited Portland, as San Francisco is dynamic as its coastal waves, and Miami, which entertains with beaches and nightlife. There's also the Grand Canyon, the miles of lush rainforests and country lanes, and when you tune into the radio, the jazz, country, hip-hop, rock, and pop music keeps you company through this mishmash of sights. Coming in at number 2, we have Spain with 83,700,000. Passion flares in Spain, a country crafted for the good life. Embark on an epic road trip looping from Barcelona to Madrid. Gather around the Gothic quarters of Barcelona and browse the experimental works of Gaudi before taking off for the mysterious Alhambra in Granada or the flamenco halls of Seville. There is also Bilbao and San Sebastian in the north, ready to satiate your hunger with delicious pinchos or tapas and avant-garde architecture. For nature that transforms every season, visit the hills of Picos de Europa, the sandy beaches of Menorca, or party it up in Mallorca. And coming in at number 1, the country with the most visitors is France with 89,400,000 visitors. France is without a doubt the most visited country in the world with this record in 2019. Patched up with idyllic villages and romantic cities, France wears its culture in both iconic landmarks and traditional settings. The country's noble castles, villas, and cathedrals pull off ostentatious decor attributed to its long centuries of royal history. The quaint village square markets, beautiful cafe terraces, and the daily rituals of a coffee and croissant present an aura of luxury and timelessness. Don't overlook France's nature either. The lyrical forests of Corsica and the warm waters of the French Riviera are well-sought retreats for city dwellers.